I'm Dara Mitchell with Vernon Central News. I'm here with Reinhardt Mann from the Vernon Fire Department, as well as Helen Sinclair from the Emergency Social Services Unit. Helen, can you tell me where we are today?
Yes, we're out at the Vernon Regional Airport and we're doing our emergency awareness show. It's our first annual one out here, and bringing in aircraft and all sorts of emergency responders that we liaise with on a year-round basis.
All right, so the liaison with different organizations such as the fire department, tell me, what does your group do to be able to facilitate that come a large-scale emergency situation?
Well, anywhere, Dara, from large scale to small scale, we do respond if the fire department has to respond to an emergency of any sort where people are evacuated from their homes or they can't be in an area for a certain length of time. Then emergency support services will come in and we look after the people. We'll set up reception centers. We can register them as being safely evacuated out of that area, and just look after their immediate needs.
Okay.
Food, clothing, shelter, that sort of thing, emotional needs, pet services, etc.
Right, okay. And I'm here with Jeff with British Columbia Ambulance Service. Jeff, can you tell us a little bit about the liaisoning with all of the various organizations and how important it is for all of the organizations to work together during an emergency?
Well, absolutely, it's very important, and fortunately here in Vernon we do liaison with all the services. The medical component's always a factor, so we're always there. They're all great to work with, and we try real hard to keep our service as best as we can, and to help the other services as much as we can as well.
Tell us how in the past emergency social services, how they've helped organizations such as BC Ambulance Service during in the event of a large-scale, say, fire or emergency event of any kind.
They're totally essential and help us out a lot. They in a mass casualty situation, we rely on them to help us with maybe the lesser hurt people or injured people. They just provide a whole edge of it, that side of it that we just can't provide, and it's so important, and definitely they rely on them a lot.
And you actually play a role in this because you're part of the Vernon Fire Department. Tell me how, with your group, how you liaison with groups such as Emergency Social Services and what role you folks play working with them.
Well, usually with the fire department, we're the first to respond with RCMP or BC Ambulance to an incident, and it's vital that we can call in other agencies to help with victims and such as Helen. We call them in like the department fire that we had, and just it takes a load off of us to let us concentrate on our job and put the fire out or whatever the incident might be, and to have them look after the victims and just go from there.
Right, and make everything work.
BC Ambulance has their part, looking after any casualties or any injuries and stuff like that, and RCMP for crowd control, and BC Forestry's here, and we work with them all the time throughout the summer at different incidents, and it's just good to liaison back and around and get to know each other, if nothing else, and just be in contact with the different groups, and it's good for the public to come out and do that.
Right. Helen, tell me, you liaison as well as with volunteer groups as well as provincially funded groups. So tell me, is there a difficulty in organizing all this come a large-scale emergency situation, or does it all go pretty seamless once everybody needs to get in gear?
Well, I think because we do liaise and we maintain contact throughout the year, we have instant contacts when an emergency does arise.
Right.
So we have the phone call or with the phone numbers, and we simply phone them out. And no, there's never ever been a problem in activating everyone. Everyone's like fast to respond, and we're all here because we want to help at some level, and we are emergency responders at various levels. So no, it's always gone very well, and but planning and preparedness on our part is what makes it easy to respond when the emergency.
I'm Dara Mitchell. I'm here with Vernon Central and Brian Fishbook of the
Wildfire Management Branch, and specifically the RAP Attack Base in Salmon Arm.
All right. And can you tell me what we're standing in front of today?
We're standing in front of a Bell 212 medium helicopter, and it's specifically set up for the type of wildfire fighting that we do, and that's remote access firefighting for rappel crews to be able to be delivered to difficult and complex terrain, so that we can get personnel down on the ground and start suppressing the fire as quickly as possible.
Okay, and what kind of area do you folks cover?
Well, we service at the Rapattack Base in Salmon Arm the entire province, but typically about central province down is the most rugged terrain we see in BC. So that's mostly where our application is in the steep mountains and remote terrain. In northern BC, they use another agency still within Wildfire Management Branch called Paratack, and they'll jump with the parachutes because the terrain's it's still remote and long distances between, but not near as rugged.
Joyce Canoris. Joyce, can you tell me what your role is here with the Red Cross?
Absolutely. I'm the Aboriginal Advisor for the BC Southern Interior. It's a role I've had for about 3 years now. I really enjoyed my work. Basically, my work covers like all areas of the Red Cross, like Respect Ed, which is violence and abuse prevention, disaster response recovery and management. For example, I've done extensive work with the Aboriginal communities, specifically our elders, and gone into about 3 or 4 communities now, and we've done emergency preparedness with them, disaster preparedness, teaching them how to respond, to look at their own personal risks and their community risks, and how would they respond and how would they prepare.
Right.
So that was real exciting. That was in three communities quite locally: Splatseen, Okanagan, and St. Mary's and the Kootenays. I also talk to the communities, and they're always really surprised the kind of work that Red Cross does do.
I bet.
And really kind of looking at community wellness is like a lot of communities are really focusing on community wellness, so it ties really closely with a lot of our programs.
Right.
First aid, first responder, water safety, because a lot of our communities are on the lakes and that sort of thing. They're interested in things like our babysitting services, but specifically because we're talking more about emergency preparedness today, that's one area that I've done a lot of work with, and I'm really been enjoying it.
Good for you. So I think a lot of people, when they think of the Red Cross, they're familiar with the work that the Red Cross does in other countries, really. You see it on TV, you see it with other people. Tell us, North Okanagan base, you spoke a little bit about what the Red Cross does here in the North Okanagan. Has there been a large-scale emergency effort that you can think of that you folks have been involved in, say even in the last year, that people might be a little bit familiar with?
Oh, absolutely. Like we've done a lot of work around the fires, like responding to the forest fires, and we know that we've had our share of them in the last few years. And specifically, like for example, in 2009, there was work done with the West Bank First Nation and also the Okanagan Band. And I'm looking back on my own history, like back in 2003 when I was working in my own personal community. I really remember Red Cross coming in and helping us, and it's kind of interesting because now I'm on the other side of things, and we've done a lot of efforts in that, as far as emergency response.
So Helen, the takeaway message for today is then to the public, are you ready? Is that the message you'd like to get everyone?
Are you ready, and are you ready for all hazards? The North Okanagan Emergency Management really focuses on the all hazards approach. So frequently in the North Okanagan we think fire. That's the first thing that comes to our mind. So as the captain mentioned, there's accidents. What if you're off the road? Have you got a grab and go kit, or not a grab and go kit, but a readiness kit in your car? Right. What about hazardous material spills? That truck at the bottom of Hospital Hill. Are you ready for any eventuality? And I think be prepared for the worst, and hopefully the best happens.